Okay, so if anybody is new here and you haven't caught on to um, a lot of stuff, I've locked down a lot of content, but most of the relevant stuff that kind of pertains to the emotional trauma and aka mental illness aspects of me and what I've dealt with is still there. Um, and you'll have to go watch it. A lot of it, once I say it, I don't really like to relive the gross in-depth details of it. But the last video that I posted, I was talking about how my son-in-law called me first. There is my I don't think my sister really has a whole lot of awareness or even an accountability of the damage and or abusive nature of what she's done in regards to me and my daughter. I don't think she's aware at all of what she's done. She's just, and she's always been like that. They crop me out of a picture while I'm deployed, kind of. Oh, she'll never notice, or it doesn't mean anything. Insensitive. It's like, how does anybody not have a conscientious aspect to how somebody's going to feel about that? It's a benevolence of, total self-righteousness that she, I'm looked up upon, within my whole religious cult aspect. So, no one's going to look down on me, but when I blow up, that's called a reactive abuse. But, no one really put a label on it way back then. Now they have a fucking label for it. Yeah. So me losing my shit makes me look bad because she instigated it. That kind of thing. Anyway, yeah. How am I doing? I think I'm 6 beers. This is the 6th one. Yeah. I stopped at about 2. It's going on about 7. So, I'm not too bad. Anyway, yeah, I've been working on this like fucking night and day. We're down to the last bits. We're getting there. Yeah, there'll be more. I'll think of something else. I'm going to sew her a bunch of pajamas. I got the fabric. It's right there. Anyway. So, yeah, just bringing you up to speed. I've dealt with a lot of trauma. My family has been in and out of my life. Cyclically. 1 year they love me, the next year they hate me. I don't fucking know. I just... Which, arbitrarily just puts me into a position of I don't trust anybody. Especially them. 1 minute they love me, the next minute they hate me. I don't know exactly what I did. Or, I can suspect, I probably said something fucked up. Or, I don't know at all what was said about me to put the disposition that they hate me now, kind of thing. So, right now, my only entertainment is a baby jumper spider while I was cooking. I watched it come from the ceiling. on his little thread. And I'm like, oh, where have you been all my life, my child? You know, and I'm trying to, and he's on my floor, and I have very dark wood floors. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to step on you. And I'm trying to save him. I put him in the plant, and I made a little house for him, and hopefully he stays there. I can't find him now, and I had a little jumper, and I couldn't catch him. He just kept, it's like one day I found him, he was in the dryer. The glass part of the dryer. And I'm like, you're gonna cook! Are you okay in there? And I'm like tapping on the glass. Yeah. I have an affinity for jumpers. I would have terrariums all over this house for those spiders. So anyway, that was kind of like the distraction factor. I was trying to, record something earlier, and I completely got like, because I had this little teeny tiny jumper spider. He was so cute. And I coerced him onto a piece of cardboard, and I put him in the plant. And I was like, this is your home now. It's your private jungle. All right, we'll figure it out. But don't go on the floor. Whatever you do, just stay off the floor. I'll put a tomato in here, and I'll, attract the fruit flies for you, Just, God, those are like my favorite. They are so sweet. They're the sweetest little spiders ever. Yeah. Anyway, so I was going on about how my sister's probably butthurt that because she didn't even respond through the mass text that everybody's been kind of communicating about. I mean, somebody in my family created this fucking thing for my mother's birthday in October, and we're all supposed to go up there for her 80th birthday, and I already let her know. I said, if my daughter is not going to make it out there, I ain't going, because I got no reason to go. If she ain't going, I got no reason to go. And I said, not to mention, I don't even know where the fucking party's gonna be at. I got no address. It was like 10 minutes later, the oldest sister, who's probably butthurt right now, sent the address. But that isn't gonna make me show up. Put in for the vacation time, but I don't think I'm going to go up there. It's a 15-hour drive. It's October. I have to take a truck. It's, $90 every 200 miles. So it's going to cost me almost $2,000 to go up there. Yeah. Anyway, my son-in-law called me immediately after they were out of the woods. My daughter had ran into complications, excessive bleeding, needed blood transfusion, and she's very tiny and gave birth to a very big baby. And he had reached out to me. It was maybe a few minutes after midnight, their time. And it was somewhere in the 11 o'clock range when she was giving birth. So, I know he reached out to me first. Or his mother. He probably called me first, then called his mom, then messaged me, and then, communicated with his mother. But her and I were the ones who were contacted. And, I posted it on Facebook that I'm really proud of her and him, and that I'm a grandma. And I have this one cousin who chaps my fucking ass. And her ignorant, judgmental statements on Facebook, and on more than one occasion. This is like the third time. Congratulations to all. Fuck off. Stay off my page. You see anything posted by me, she needs to just ignore it. I thought I blocked her. I'd like to know how the fuck she popped up. I quite literally unfriended her entire family. I was like, yeah, you and your entire fucking family are done. Bye. Peace. Yeah. My nieces, they're so libtarded that I can't. I mean, I can handle Democrats. I've got friends who are Democrats on my page, like moderate Democrats, on the political spectrum, and we can have conversations. Whereas my nieces, no, they're like too far gone on the insanity realm that there's no having conversations. It's twisted as fuck, and I can't even. I don't have the endurance to deal with the bullshit like that. I can't. I have a friend of mine she's actually out in California, and her biggest concern, she's not a Democrat per se. She's more of an independent, but she just does not like Trump. And I think the reason why she doesn't like Trump is because he has not been affiliated to the extent to protect nature. She's always been a environmentalist. Now, on the global warming thing, not so much, but on the preservations of the national landmarks and national forests and things like that, she's very up there in knowledge, and it's concerning to her because there was something that had happened under the Obama administration and then Biden, and then Trump did something and Biden overrode it, and it was probably the only thing that Biden did that made sense. And then she's been concerned about that whole aspect of it. So, I mean, her perspective, she gives a reason to why. And it gives me reason to research. And it gives me, ammo to look and be able to say, you know what, I agree with you. You're right. And I do agree with her in that regard. And her disposition, she has a fucking reason. Everybody else, they're going off media talking points. They have absolutely no idea why they hate the man. This girl, she has a reason. There's stuff. She's got her ammo, So, yeah, when she gives me her tidbits and I give her my tidbits, we're hitting in the middle of the road and we're looking at each other like, shit's fucked up. Yeah. I think, he acted out of ignorance. What do you think? She's like, you might be right. And I was like, yeah, I agree with you, though. That is concerning. And, as far as, making me hate the guy, depending on how heartfelt I am about, the environment and land preservations and things like that, I said, but the state got involved. I said, now the state's involved. And they're fucking shit up. So who do you blame? Where do we go from here? All right. So one gave it The other one fucked it up. The other one gave it back. Now you're afraid he's going to step in. I think he's pretty much lost his battle, but now you got the state fighting this shit. Okay, so now where do we go? You know, but she's right. She has a legitimate reason. Everybody else doesn't have a legitimate reason. You know, that kind of thing. So, yeah, my nieces, they don't have a legitimate reason. My friend out in California, she's got a legitimate reason to be concerned about him. And I agree with her wholeheartedly. Do I hate Trump? No. I think he made a bad decision in regards to her perspective. Yeah, I get it. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, you need to look up the whole history of Bears Ears. So, anyway. Of which I had no knowledge of at all until she brought it up. Just saying. But as far as this grandchild coming into my life, I've never felt more, I don't even know what the word is. My son-in-law called me first. And that puts a perspective onto me that has pretty much calmed all the demons. I always knew his perceptions and his opinions of my older sister, who had raised my daughter, and that is where all of this kind of comes from. And it wasn't so much that she raised her, it was I entrusted her for the short term, and then when things finally calmed down and I was able to get myself back on my feet, my daughter was in an environment where she had friends in a stable environment, and I felt that it would be selfish and cruel to pull her away from the things that she knew and loved in that environment for my own personal ego kind of thing. So I kind of just left it alone, even though I was aware that my sister was doing everything she could to stifle and or sever my daughter and I ever having a real, legitimate, bonded relationship. That makes sense. And it took everything in my power to not fucking chew her from one side to the other for some of the cruel crap that she did to me. And when my daughter had announced that she was getting married, I was not opposed to her getting married. I was opposed to her doing the sealing immediately, which is a Mormon tradition type of thing. And given the time frame in which it had been done, the Mormon Church was not allowing civil ceremonies and then sealings. It was requiring a sealing before a civil ceremony. Otherwise, you would have to wait a year to do the sealing. And I was a little disappointed with them not being open-minded and diplomatic to the fact that not everybody in that family was temple recommended, and they would not wait a year to do the sealing. That's what disturbed me. So my sister took it upon herself to take out a second mortgage and finance this wedding, in which I was not opposed to the wedding at all. I was opposed to the sealing pre-civil ceremony. That's what I was opposed to. And I tried to explain that, but nobody was listening. But in any case, my sister decided she was going to take out a second mortgage and do this whole wedding, and she turned into a monster-in-law. And my daughter, God bless her, my daughter wanted me there to get her ready, and my sister was all offended because she had fit the bill, and I had done the flowers and you know, a lot of the decorations with her best friend and everything. And I was like, here's everything. Do your magic. I'm going to focus on the kid. And I sat there and I was by myself, danced around by myself. I had nobody there, you know, other than this best friend's mom, you know, in support of me. Yeah, that kind of thing. Anyway, my daughter was in the bathroom and my sister had done something with the cell phone, put it on silent or something, and it was supposed to be the wedding march. And my daughter called her out, and I was like, yeah, that was a little harsh. And she just looked at me, and I was like, but yeah. Anyway, it'll be all right. But my daughter is, you know, she didn't want to be a bridezilla, but at the same time, my sister was being a neurotic basket case, you know, and yeah, it all started there, and me and my daughter were like, why is she fucking wigging out about the cell phone? Isn't that where the wedding march is saved? You know, that kind of thing. I don't know what it's called. My daughter knows what it is, but anyway, so it was kind of we had the civil ceremony after, and it just felt like sloppy seconds. I was so fucking like frustrated with that whole situation. But I flew out to Idaho for the temple sealing. We went to Ozzy afterward, and then I rode the motorcycle to the wedding. Changed my clothes when I got there. Me and his mom both. Oh my God, we were giggling. I was like, you went with the sweater and leggings too? And she was like, I couldn't stand it. I was like, the temple. Oh my, we looked so uncomfortable. She was like, you looked so. I said, I was freezing. The formality of it. I just wanted to, like, we looked so uncomfortable. And when we went to the civil ceremony, we were both in like sweaters. She was in a burgundy one. I was in a blue one. That was the colors, right? And yeah, we were like at fist bump. Man, I'm dressing for the occasion and dressing for the weather. Fuck the occasion. It was like, God, it was so cold. Anyway, but my daughter wanted an autumn wedding because she has this thing for pumpkin spice. I love her. But anyway, yeah, it was pretty though. It was rustic and pretty, and the pictures are amazing. And God help me. But all in all, my sister had tried everything in her power to shut me out, not only out of my daughter's life, but out of all of the wedding involvement. Just tried to like erase me, and it fucking has backfired on her to the fullest extent. And this, you know, this basically is frosting on the fucking cake. My son-in-law has basically made it clear by calling me first. And that is where my, you know, my cup runneth over. It's kind of it's a shell shock in itself. And it just, I couldn't feel more blessed right now. And that's where my motivation came from. God, I got so much done yesterday. It is incredible. It is incredible. So, I hope everybody has a great week. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I know I haven't been on here much bitching and complaining about my work. I don't show a lot of what I'm doing on the sewing machine because I can't figure out the camera to get it, you know, angled, and I got the glow of the light and blah, 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 blah. But anyway, yes, I'm doing better. And this just is an enlightening moment for me that I hope what he did made it abundantly clear. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Peace.